Helly from Enter Via Laundry is here. We're going to be making a pork dish today.
We're going to make pork sorpotel.
Okay.
It is a Christmas special dish back in Goa. A lot of Christian community back in India.
Yes.
And so we're going to start with poaching the pork up here. So I've got some boiling water here.
All right.
And add some turmeric. Most of the meats in India start with a little bit of turmeric and salt.
Okay.
Part is because it acts as an antiseptic.
And you could use fresh turmeric if you like to, but ground turmeric we've all got in our pantry. Now, what type of pork have you got here?
So I've got pork belly and I've got pork shoulder, skin taken off.
Yep.
As much fat as you can take it off, that'd be good.
Of course. Why do you use two different varieties of pork for this recipe?
Because we want the stock to be nice and rich. And this particular recipe, believe me or not, is cooked a month in advance.
A month in advance?
I know. And it starts with a nice gravy, like a runny gravy. And then it is cooked every single day for a little bit. And pop it back in the fridge.
Yes.
Bring it out, cook it a little bit, pop it back in the fridge. Come Christmas, it's intense. It's at its peak, and it's served with bread.
Yes.
Or fermented rice.
Never heard of this before. I love new food. I love learning about other people's cultures. This is fantastic. So while that's cooking, we're going to get onto a bit of a curry paste.
Yes, so this one is with some Kashmiri red chilies.
All right, so here are the Kashmiri chilies here. Are they hard to find? Are they readily available?
You can find them in a nice Indian grocery store. Ask for whole dried Kashmiri chilies instead of the powdered ones because there is a huge difference in the flavor profile of both. So we've soaked this overnight and we're going to blend that with some garlic, mustard, turmeric, peppercorns again, and cloves.
Okay. So it all goes straight into a blender.
And we also add a few more spices, some cinnamon, ginger, and cumin.
Okay. This is what it's all about, it's just getting the quantities right for this. So everything's quite balanced.
Yeah, balance is very important in all the curries. The reason why Indians use spices is to bring that balance of the tattvas, as they call it in the body.
Fantastic. And a whole cinnamon stick, no cinnamon powder for this?
Whole cinnamon.
Whole cinnamon stick. All right, I'll break it up a little bit. A little vinegar too?
A little bit of vinegar to blend it instead of the water.
Okay.
Now, traditionally we use toddy vinegar, which comes out of the sap of coconut plant.
Right.
But I find that the malt vinegar used actually is quite better. It brings really good depth. So we're going to use the malt vinegar.
All right, well, we'll blend this, we'll pop it to one side, and we'll just wait for this pork to finish cooking before we chop it up.
Yes. All right, so we've got the pork up here and I've diced them.
Yes.
In here, I'm just going to add some oil. We're going to start off by frying some onions.
Okay, get a bit of colour on those onions.
A little bit of colour on this. So just a quick...
Now, let's have a look at this pork. So we've diced it into little cubes. It's so tender. And all that was cooking the meat in the turmeric and salt for that 1 to 1.5 hours. That is just in itself is just so delicious.
But we're going to add a lot of more spices than just turmeric. And so up here, you've done a fantastic job at blending the spices.
Yes. Have a look at that colour.
So that's all the Kashmiri red chilies. And again, the Kashmiri chilies come from Kashmir, and that's why they're called that.
Yeah.
And the seeds are delicate, and so they blend quite nicely as well. We've got cumin, cinnamon, coriander.
I think a lot of people, when they saw the chilies going in, might go, oh, that's going to be really, really hot. But not every chili is equal.
No, not all the chilies are equal. This one predominantly is for the colour. And then we've got the hot ones up here.
Aha. So a little stash, you always bring a little stash of extra hot chilies, all right?
Yes, always.
All right, Helly, well, we've got some good colour on those onions.
They smell beautiful. So we're going to add in the pork.
Okay. All of that goes in.
Now, you could add a little bit of more oil if you like, but I'm going to keep it nice and lean today.
Okay.
We've got a lot of flavour up here, so...
Yes, twice cooked pork. I like this.
Yeah. Amazing. So, next up, we are going to add half of this. So, let's just start half of the marinade and see how we go. We'll just add it on the pan up here. So it gets a little bit of heat.
Of course, because we've got the raw ingredients in there with the onion and the garlic. And so we're just folding that together.
We're folding that together. I'm just going to add a little bit of stock now, just so that I can fold in easily.
Okay.
So this is the stock in which the pork was poached with some turmeric and salt.
Yeah, full of flavour there.
Full of flavour and also a bit more fat, which we haven't added too much at the start of the recipe.
Fantastic. And these little chilies are still sitting here. We're going to chop them or put them in whole?
Let's put them whole, just so in case if you want to take them off, we can take them off. So we're just waiting for the sauce to thicken up a little bit. And it's not going to take a month. It's only going to take a little bit because of the stock up here. I'm just going to slide more.
A little bit more stock. Right. And then we'll just let that bubble away, finish cooking. Once it's thickened, we get to have a taste. Wow, Haley, that's thick and rich. It smells divine.
So I'm going to serve this in a nice bowl. And a little green chili just for presentation.
Why not?
And that could be enjoyed up here with a nice crusty bun.
I thought you were going to serve this with some rice, the classic way, but this is actually the classic way if you go to Goa.
Lots of bakeries in Goa and beautiful bread baked for breakfast, lunch, dinner.
Ooh, yes.
This one, lunch special or dinner special with pork curry.
And so how do we serve this? We just dig in with the bread, we dip it in like the French way or the Portuguese way, because that's where the influence is
way.
coming.
The Portuguese, Indian, French way.
All right.
So rip the bread, soak it in the pork curry, get a bit of pork, a lot of sauce. Yum.
Oh, one fork for you, half. We've still got a few more bread rolls for later. Soak that. I mean, I watch you, I see exactly how you do it, but really nothing ever tastes as good as when Helly cooks you a curry from scratch. It is sensational. Oh, that whole bowl's for me. Yum, 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 yum. That's beautiful, thank you.
Thank you so much.